welcome to another episode of New to Me. I'm Stephen Michael Zach, and today we are talking about the Falconeyes RX-8TD. That's right, this is an on-camera bicolor light by Falconeyes. It'll cost you around $100 with all the accoutrement. This is, of course, the deluxe model with the space light and softbox and all that good stuff. So let's jump over to the workbench and check it out. Okay, so here we have the Falconeyes RX-8TD. This will run you about $99 for everything you see here. And it comes with this little power box here, which is great. It comes with a very, very long cord, yay. And it comes with this really rock solid mini ball head. Now, I said that a few weeks ago, I said that the Luxley Cello had a really solid ball head. Well, this is even better. So good on Falconeyes for that. Really, really rock solid. And of course, you get the softbox and diffusion, which we'll talk about in a minute. And you also get the space diffusion thing, which we'll also talk about. But let's talk about the light itself. Now, first off, it has a coating on it, so if it gets wet, your LEDs are not going to burn out. You can bend the light on three sides, which is nice. You can kind of shape the light there. Now, one thing I did notice is there is this weird, like the bottom Velcro's up, and you could see like the wires inside, which is very strange. I don't know why they didn't just stitch this. They just basically stitched it here and then put a Velcro thing on. So very, very strange. Don't know what that's about. But all in all, looks nice. Flipping over to the back, the whole thing is pretty much for Velcro, except for right here, which has little holes for ventilation. This is great. So if you put some Velcro on, say, a C-stand or a light stand, you could bend this over or even just hang this by bending it. Very, very cool. Now, let's talk about the main power here. This is super duper cheap plastic, but it shouldn't be too bad. Just don't drop it. And you get a brightness dial here. You get a designated on-off switch, which I love. You get the 7 to 12 volt DC jack, and you get your color temperature from 5600 Kelvin to 3000 Kelvin. Now, I do wish they put a screen here because there is a spot for a screen, but there isn't. And it does have this battery release right here. Now, on the bottom here, it's very interesting. They have kind of this built-in cold shoe, or built-in hot shoe, whatever it's called. I always get these confused. You can just slide this right on your camera, or you could just slide it right on your camera from this angle. They both do have a 1/4-20. There's one there and one there. And for some reason, up top, it's like missing the shoe. There is like a little springy thing here, and it looks like something can slide in here, the same on this side. I don't know if that's an add-on or something that just didn't come with this. I just found it a little bizarre that it would have these two things, but they wouldn't be here. So that was a little strange. And one other thing is, yes, this thing is peeling a little bit. I think what they did was they Velcroed this on. I guess the glue is coming off. But there's like a piece of Velcro and it looks like they tried to glue it on because, you know, inside there are wires actually going into here. And then lastly, you'll notice that the edge here is already fraying, and this is brand new. Now that is because, and I will show you later, when you put the softbox on or the space softbox on, the space light on, there's no Velcro down here. What they should have done is they should have moved this up a little bit and put a piece of Velcro down here to catch the bottom of the softbox, but they did not do that. So what's happening is the Velcro is catching the lining and starting to pull apart the lining, which is causing all this fraying. Also, it wasn't stitched very well, so it's also coming undone. So what I'll probably do is I'll probably just get a piece of Velcro and bend it around this thing so that it has something to grab onto. Otherwise, it's going to rip apart the sides. And it does look like the edging here is not made very well. It's already starting to fray, and I've only had this thing open for a couple of hours. So all in all, not the best of materials. Let's go ahead and slap a battery in this thing and take a look. Okay, first of all, the battery release is good and strong. It's not going to fly out, which is great. Let's go ahead and turn this thing on. And here we go. The brightness goes from 0 to 100. And it's fairly smooth brightness. I'm not noticing, when I move slowly, I'm not noticing a whole lot of jumping, which is great. Again, I'm sort of guessing where my color temperature is because there's no screen on it. Let's go ahead and turn this full brightness and let's check out. So this is full daylight, and I'll begin to move throughout the settings. You'll notice there are a few little jumps at the ends, but for the most part, this is pretty solid. If you go slow, you don't even see them. If you go faster, you see a couple of jumps. But all in all, yeah, a little jump there. But all in all, not too bad. It is a nice quality of light. Now the lights are separate. Your daylight lights are different than your tungsten lights, so they are separated. They're not like dual lights, but it seems to work really well. So let's go ahead and set this thing up on a stand, and I'll show you. Actually, let's go ahead and take a look at the softbox, and then I'll show you the space light after that. Okay, so here we are with the softbox, and it came massively bent, and this is going to cause a huge problem, and I'll show you what I mean. Let's go ahead and set this thing up, which is very easy. You just kind of flatten it out like that, and let's go ahead and pop out the battery here, and basically you just drop your light in like so, and here's where that here's where the Velcro is going to be fraying the bottom. Because there is no Velcro or room back here, the Velcro is going to land right here, and it's going to start fraying your edging. So what I'm doing for the time being is I'm just tucking this inside. There's not going to be a lot of light leak, and even if there is, it's going to leak out the back, which is not a problem. But you just want to go around the back here, make sure all your edging is down properly. And there you go. Now you will notice that it does have this massive bend and this massive bow, which is a little strange and can possibly shape the light in a way you don't want. And throwing the little diffusion sock on here is very easy. It just slides right over. But unfortunately, the diffusion sock does not stretch this back into proper position. You're still going to get the bowing on the sides and on the bottom. Now this is a nice piece of diffusion, and it has sort of like a little grid pattern. I guess they were going for trying to shape the light. But there, it's just that easy. And then you just slap a battery on the back like so. And it diffuses the light quite nicely. I really do like this. So it is pretty decent. The only thing I don't like is the fact that it not only bows, but you're going to get some light bleed from the back here, and most likely some light bleed here. Again, there is no Velcro here to attach. When you attach this, when you push the Velcro into the lining, it just tears the lining apart. So that is somewhat of an issue. I'll probably, maybe if I use this, maybe I'll just take some gaff tape or something and put it across the edge here. Let's go check out the space light. Okay, so here we are with the space light, and I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it is already turning yellow, which means it's already staining due to the air and elements. It is not as white as the softbox material. Some other things, it's also very thin, and I don't like is it has these little end pieces here, these little caps that are just literally hand stitched in with a lick and a promise. And what you have to do to put this on is you have this very plastic cheap, feels very breakable little rod. And what you want to do is you want to take that rod and you want to kind of bend it carefully and stick it into one of these end caps. And then you grab the other end, and it should kind of spin around and open up, and you put it into this other end cap. It's a very interesting design. One, it's just held in by basically like this elastic here, which I think could easily break, and it's all twisted around. So there is elastic there. These are cheap plastics, so eventually they'll break. And because it's not sewn in, the plastic pieces can actually slide out, and you can actually lose them. And then you've got these end caps, like I said, which are just stitched on with a lick and a promise. So not really thrilled with those. And then adding this onto the light, you just kind of squeeze it around like so. And it kind of fits really nicely. And again, I'm just going to tuck this under, and this actually works better than the softbox. I'm going to tuck this under so that it's not fraying my edging here. But all in all, that looks pretty good. It will bend your light. So it's going to cause the light to bend a little bit. And that's it. That is the space light. So just slap a battery in and turn it on. And this thing diffuses really nicely. Let's go ahead and take a look at this in action, and then we'll go back to the main table for my final thoughts. Okay, so here we are with the light, and we are at a bare bulb. Now this is dimmed down, and one thing I do want to show you is there is a beam angle change on this light. When you go from daylight to tungsten, let's go ahead and show you that right now. We'll turn this up full brightness, and you'll notice a massive beam angle change. If you look at the backdrop, you can see that the beam angle is actually changing. Daylight is actually wider than the tungsten, which is a little bit weird. And here it is at max brightness. It is super bright, doing a very nice job. So let's go ahead and turn this down a bit. There we go, and that is pretty normal. So that's it. That is the light. There is a kind of a beam angle change, like I said, and you will notice that in both the Space Light and on the Softbox as well. So let's take a look at the Softbox. Okay, so here we are with the Softbox, and as you can tell, this is doing a good job diffusing. Let's go ahead and bump up the brightness here. And as you can see, it diffuses quite nicely. Let's go ahead and bump it down till I look about normal and about matches. There you go, it's doing a great job. Now you are still getting that bowing on the sides, and it's obvious that it's kind of compacting the light into almost a strange pattern. Where you get that bowing on the top and bottom, and then it's kind of bowing on the inside. So it will kind of, if you have it close to wall, you will see a pattern. But all in all, I am going to try to fix the Softbox. That is an issue, that the Softbox is kind of like massively bent, but it is doing a very nice job. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Space Light. Okay, so here we are with the Space Light on full brightness, and I have to say, I actually like the Space Light better than the Softbox. It is just giving me a much nicer quality of light around my face, but again, that is just due to shape. But I really do, even though it is still very, very wonky, and the actual Space Light is made super cheaply, and I don't care for the way it's constructed, it actually is shaping the light really, really nicely. And I could definitely see myself using this more than the Softbox. And again, with both the Softbox and the Space Light, you will see that pattern change as well, that beam angle change as well, which is interesting. But all in all, this is really, really nice, doing a great job. So let's talk about my final thoughts. Okay, so my final thoughts on this is the light itself is pretty darn good. First off, the quality of this light is great. When you dim it down from 0 to 100%, there's no jumping whatsoever. There is a little bit of jumping on either end from 3000 Kelvin to 5600 Kelvin, but that's only if you go really fast. If you turn the wheel very slowly, there's not a lot of jumping at all. Now, one thing I will say is there is a bit of a green tint when you get into daylight on this. I did notice very, very slight green tint, but that's okay because I plan to use the tungsten function. I love the fact that there is plastic on the front to keep it nice and dry if it gets wet. Now, one thing I will talk about, and I've only had this open for a few hours, but the edging is already starting to massively fray. So the edging is very, very cheap. Especially down here where the Velcro kind of hit it, it's starting to pull away and just starting to come undone, and that is not a quality edging. Also, you have weird things like you can pull the Velcro off this and see inside and see the wires. I don't know why they didn't just stitch this. And again, you have the metal frame in here, which is pretty good, but remember, once you bend up that metal frame, it's never going to bend back just right. But that's true with all things with a metal frame. But all in all, the quality of light that comes out of this, I am very, very happy with. Now, you do get this very plasticky power box. The battery lock is quite good. Let me grab a battery here. And what I mean by quite good is it's not gonna, you can't smack it out. So it has a battery lock, a lot like the cello, which I really, really like. The dials are fine. I really wish they had put a screen right here. They could have, so you would know what color temperature you're at. You do get these DC 7 to 12 volt. You get a designated on-off switch, which is great. And you do get these kind of like shoes on the end on 2 of the sides. And then it looks like you can add something up here. I don't know what. I don't know why they just didn't do it for all sides. But it looks like maybe you can buy something that will work like that. But you do get 2 quarter 20s. So all in all, really, really a good solid light. This is going to be replacing my cello that is above me. So there's that. Now, let's talk about the accessories. They are kind of meh. What I mean by that is just look at the softbox. It is just bowing like crazy. I am going to have to put some pipage in here or try to get this to flatten out somehow. But it's very strange that it's bent. And so what it's doing is it's kind of bending your light and making a very odd pattern. So the softbox is just okay. Now the space light looks much nicer than the softbox, but again, and this thing already turned inside out and started to fall apart. Again, as you could see, not even holding these, it's basically like a projectile weapon, not even holding these very, very cheap pegs. They are starting to fall out and slide all over the place, which is a huge issue. It's already starting to turn inside out. It's just very difficult to get this to work right. I probably will end up gluing one end in. And with that said, you do get these little tabs here that like literally sewn on with a lick and a promise. And you've got like this cheap elastic here. So all in all, this is not made very well. And also the plastic, because the material is so thin, the plastic feels like it's just going to tear right through. So not love the way this works. I don't like the construction of it. I really wish they had thought of something a little bit better than this because it is kind of junky and it's already falling apart. And it's going to be difficult to keep the 2 sticks in this thing. They're going to fall out constantly and you're going to lose them. Just not a good design at all. So what's the bottom line here? What's my final thought? I would say just buy, if you can buy, I believe you can buy this light for like 75, 80 bucks on its own. I would recommend just buying the light and covering it with diffusion paper and skip all the accoutrement unless you can find something else because it's really not very good. Now, as far as construction, this is constructed fairly well. Falconeyes is a decent company. Doesn't smell or anything. I know some of the Falconeyes stuff people have said it's smelled, but this is pretty good. Just not happy with the fact that there's no Velcro on the bottom here. So when the Velcro hits the edging, it kind of starts to tear it, and the edging's already starting to fray. And I haven't even had this thing open a day. I've had it open a couple of hours, and you're already getting massive fraying. So I probably will be returning this for, exchanging this for a different unit, and then I'll just put a piece of Velcro on the bottom, so you're not going to have that issue. Hopefully. But all in all, for 100 bucks, this is a fantastic budget light that comes with some usable accessories, and I would recommend it. So those are my thoughts, but I want to know yours. So leave your questions and comments in the notes below. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to mash that bell button to be notified when we drop a brand new video. And feel free to use the links below as it helps out the channel. I'm Stephen Michael Zach, and this is New to Me.